Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we are talking about the fact that whenever you open the develop tab in Where Winds Meet, it can feel overwhelming. There are so many systems, upgrades, paths and tabs that it's hard to know where to even start. So in this video, I am breaking down everything that contributes to martial mastery in a clear, beginner-friendly way. From abilities and inner ways to gears, talents and efficient upgrade methods. The video is divided into clear segments, so if you clicked for a specific section, feel free to jump straight to it. And if this guide helps you even a little, consider dropping a like and subscribing. More Where Winds Meet guides are on the way. One thing many new players miss is that you can get your third martial art right at the beginning of the game. If you miss this, after unlocking the first wayfarer, defeat the bear, then head left to find a man trapped under rubble. Help him and he'll let you choose a new weapon or martial art. You can choose any weapon, but I personally recommend Moblade, Fan or Umbrella since they are harder to obtain early on. This choice unlocks your third martial art inside the abilities tab, and all future martial arts you unlock will appear here. After progressing a bit, you will unlock inner ways. These are buffs that enhance your martial arts, and at max you can equip up to 4. Each inner way aligns with a specific combat path. I will talk about the paths later on, but as of now, think of it like different play styles. Close combat, mid-range, healing, and hybrid builds. As you develop your preferred style, you can mix and match inner ways to optimize your build. I highly recommend unlocking and leveling these early as they are extremely impactful. Now we come to the mystic skills. They are game-changing and they affect your combat, exploration, or stealth gameplay. These are unlocked through open-world explorations to stay curious. NPCs and hidden encounters often hold the key. They are divided into offensive, general and movement skills. Offensive mystic skills are purely combat focused. Even after playing for a month, I still haven't unlocked all of them. And yes, my noob self cries in the corner. General mystic skills, you will unlock most of these naturally, but touch of death is extremely important for stealth gameplay. Pay attention to the hints shown when you press how to learn. Now the coolest part, movement and lightness skills. There are currently 4 lightness skills. 1 you will get from Warrior's Journey, 2 you will get from Region Exploration Progress, and 1 from a Lost Chapter quest. I have already made a guide for the last one. Wall running is logged initially and requires collecting oddities and turning them in. Other movement skills unlock naturally as you progress. Now let's talk about gear, because this is where your martial mastery really starts to scale. Your character's gear is divided into multiple slots and each one contributes differently to your overall power. First you have 2 weapon slots which define your primary combat style. Then you have 2 accessory slots for your disc and pendant which provides additional stats and bonuses. Next comes your armor which has 4 separate slots, and finally you have 2 special slots, the bow and the thumb ring. These are treated separately from the rest of your gear. Now here's an important detail many players overlook. With the exception of the bow and thumb ring, every other piece of gear performs best when used as part of a set. Wearing random pieces might work early on, but sets are where your real power comes from. Both weapons and armor in Where Winds Meet come with their own dedicated sets. When you equip 2 pieces from the same set, you unlock the primary set bonus. But if you go all the way and equip 4 pieces from the same set, you also gain a powerful secondary bonus, which can significantly boost your build. Now let's talk about rarity, because this affects how strong your gear can become. Now, gear follows a clear hierarchy. Blue gear is the most basic and usually your early game option. Purple gear is a major upgrade and offers much better stat potential. And at the top, you have gold gear, which is the highest rarity and provides the strongest bonuses and scaling. As you progress, your goal should always be moving toward higher rarity gear while completing full sets that support your chosen combat path. Why rarity matters for upgrading? Here's something really important, especially if you don't want to waste valuable resources. Upgrading low rarity gear is almost never worth it. Tuning materials are limited, and if you invest them into weak gear, you will end up replacing that piece very quickly. So whenever you are planning to upgrade, follow this simple rule. Purple gear should always be your minimum baseline and gold gear should be your priority whenever possible. That way, every tuning material you spend actually converts into meaningful power instead of being lost on gear you will outgrow. Now a beginner friendly advice I would like to give is that if you are still in the early to mid game, don't stress about perfect builds right away. The smartest approach is to focus on completing 2-piece sets first. These give you strong bonuses without forcing you to commit all your slots to one set. As you progress, get better drops and unlock higher tier content, you can slowly transition into full 4-piece sets that fully support your chosen combat path. This method keeps your progression smooth, efficient and resource friendly without locking you into upgrades too early. Now we come to average level and what it really means. And this confuses a lot of people. Average level does not mean your character level. It represents the average upgrade level of all your gear slots. As you increase this, min-max physical attack increases, max HP increases, physical defense increases, and all of this directly contributes to your martial mastery points. So instead of maxing one gear piece and ignoring others, you should upgrade slots evenly and maintain a balanced average level. So before we talk about farming and optimization, you need to understand the improvement guide, because this is basically the game telling you how strong or weak your current build really is. When you open the improvement guide, you will see two main tabs. The path guide tab focuses on combat paths, which I briefly mentioned earlier. These paths represent playstyles, not just damage types. For example, DPS melee combat, tank melee combat, heal ranged combat, DPS ranged combat and many more. When you select a path here, the game shows you recommended martial arts, best innerway combinations and suggested gear sets. This is extremely useful if you are confused about build synergy and you are unsure whether your setup even makes sense. You don't have to copy these builds exactly, but they are a great reference point. Coming to the development guide tab, this tab is very important for efficiency. It shows you which part of your build is currently holding you back the most. There are 5 major aspects evaluated here, and the guide will literally tell you what to upgrade first, where you are falling behind, and which system gives you the biggest mastery boost right now. So whenever you feel stuck or confused, come back here and use this as a priority checklist. The arsenal system is unlocked later, but it's one of the most misunderstood systems in the game. Here's what arsenal actually does. When you replace your old gear with higher tier gear, your old gear doesn't become useless. You store it in the arsenal. When you complete a full arsenal set, you gain min-max physical attack bonuses. This is where many players mess up. The arsenal has a path setting and by default it's set to general. If you leave it on general, you only get generic physical attack bonuses. But if your build is focused on bell strike, bamboo cut or any other specific path, then you must switch your arsenal path accordingly. When you do that, your arsenal boosts min-max attack stats for your chosen path. This single change can noticeably increase your damage and mastery without any extra grinding. Next is Divinecraft. There are currently 3 Divinecraft types: fire, water and poison. You can upgrade them to increase their damage and their duration. And yes, these upgrades also contribute to martial mastery. You can choose whether Divinecraft activates automatically during combat or not. This is available directly in the settings. Then go to the game tab, scroll to the bottom and enable or disable this option. If you are wondering how to upgrade them, click on the Divinecraft. The game shows exactly which material drops where. Now we move to talents, and this is a long-term progression system. There are 3 talent tabs: Basic, Arena and Boss. Basic talent tab. This is where most of your early power comes from. It includes unlockable mystic skill slots, physical defense bonuses, critical stats, additional Divinecraft unlocks and other core stat improvements. Now in Arena and Boss talent tabs, these are more specialized, and to unlock and upgrade this, you have to play Arena, run sword trials and complete Hero's Realm weekly. These talents mainly give advantages in your PvP scenarios and boss encounters. Now we arrive at the most important part of the video, the key to leveling up martial mastery efficiently. This is the core segment where players actually gain mastery fast instead of wasting weeks. Let's start with martial arts, because this is one of the fastest ways to increase your martial mastery if you do it right. First, select the martial arts you actually want to play. For me, that's twin blades and rope dart, but this applies to any weapon. At the beginning, leveling martial arts only costs coin, so push them to level 20 immediately. After your first breakthrough, you will notice that martial arts now require specific materials to level up further, and this is where most people slow down. But there's a very efficient method. Now what you have to do is click on the material you need and check which enemy drops it. Look carefully at the enemy's appearance and the region marker on the map. Now open the map, go to challenges and then outposts. Pick an outpost in the same region where that enemy type appears. Go there and confirm, is the enemy present? Does he look like the one shown in the material description? If yes, clear the outpost, loot every one of them but leave one enemy alive. Now, leave the outpost area completely, wait around 5 to 10 seconds and then walk back in. The enemies will fully respawn. Repeat this process and you will farm a huge amount of mats in no time. And if you don't find the right enemy in one outpost, don't worry, just move to the next one and repeat the process. Now, inner ways are unlocked through exploration and even I haven't unlocked all of them yet. When you click an inner way, it gives you a clue. Sometimes a direct location, sometimes a vague hint. So yes, exploration matters a lot here. To upgrade inner ways, you need inner way notes. The best source by far is SWOT trials, with outposts being secondary. But here's the issue. You will get a lot of notes for inner ways you don't even use. So here's the solution. Open the inner ways tab, go to tips exchange, then click on obtain book tokens. Now you will see all inner way notes you have collected. What you must do next is find the inner ways you actually want, log them and click add all, then confirm. All unwanted nodes get converted into vintage bookplates. With these bookplates, you can open path-specific inner way boxes. When you open those boxes, repeat the same locking process again. This method lets you upgrade inner ways much faster without wasting materials. Now here's something very important. If you have fully upgraded an inner way for one path and later want to switch builds, you do not need to farm everything again. You can use conversion. For example, tier 2 bamboo cut to tier 2 bell strike. All the nodes used are converted directly, and there is a warning though. There is a seasonal conversion limit, so convert wisely. Mystic skills are unlocked purely through exploration. The more you explore, NPC interactions, lost chapters and side quests, the more mystic skills you'll unlock, including movement and lightness skills. To level them up, you need specific materials from outposts, mystic skill breakthrough boxes, and you will find this in the season shop or the battle pass shop. You can also find them in the open world, but the drops are random and grindy. So if you are focusing on mystic skills, the shops are your most reliable source. Now it is the part that impacts your character more than almost anything else in the game: gear. Your damage, survivability and martial mastery scaling all depend heavily on how well your gear is built. You can have great skills and talents, but if your gear is poorly upgraded, your overall power will suffer. Once you unlock tuning, your power can jump massively, but only if you tune the right way. Tuning blindly wastes materials. Tuning smartly turns average gear into endgame worthy pieces. First, always check the main stat of the gear you want to tune. If the main stat matches your chosen path or is an offensive stat, that gear is already a good candidate. Then look at the stat color, because rarity matters a lot here. Gold stats are the best possible outcome. Purple stats are still very strong and completely viable. Blue stats are acceptable early on but not ideal. Green stats should almost always be avoided for tuning. Here's a tuning method that works around 70 to 80% of the time, and it's what I personally use. Start by selecting a piece of gear that already has a recommended or offensive main stat. Then use gold tuning materials whenever you have them. If you don't, purple mats are still a solid backup. Doing this significantly increases your chances of rolling offensive, substats, and even better getting epic or legendary quality rolls. Now a quick disclaimer, this is not magic. There will be times where you do everything right and the game still hands you absolute trash. That's just RNG being RNG. But over time, this method works far more often than it fails. You are stacking the odds in your favor instead of leaving everything to pure luck. After tuning comes one of the most important steps in the entire gear system: Attunement stones. These stones allow you to force stat outcomes that align with your combat path. You can obtain them mainly from SWOT trials and Heroes Realm, so make sure you are running those regularly. For example, if you are running a bamboo cut build, you should always choose bamboo cut attunement. This ensures the final stat bonuses actually boost the path you are playing, instead of giving you random, unfocused stats. One thing to keep in mind, main weapons don't allow path-specific attunement. They use general attunement, which is RNG based. You won't be able to force a specific path here, but the system still tends to favor stats that work well with the weapon itself. If you are ever unsure which gear set works best for your build, the game actually tells you. You just need to look in the right place. Open the improvement guide, select your chosen path, and head over to the combination tab. Here you will see the recommended gear sets along with exactly how and where to obtain them. And if there's one activity I strongly recommend, it's sword trials. The reason is simple: sword trial gear chests let you choose whichever set you want instead of relying purely on random drops. This makes it one of the most efficient ways to complete your ideal set. A lot of players may notice something strange once they reach tier 56 and beyond. Their bow and thumb ring slots are empty or stuck at very low tiers. This isn't a bug, it's just that these items really drop naturally at higher levels. The solution is crafting. Head to Kaifeng, I'll show the exact location on screen, and craft a bow. It honestly doesn't matter which bow you craft because these slots are mainly used to boost martial mastery, not combat damage. Just keep in mind, crafting a purple bow is chance based with a roughly 10% success rate. Once you get it, tune it, equip it, and don't forget to add it to your arsenal too. These slots might seem minor, but they contribute directly to your mastery total, so don't leave them empty. Now here's a critical warning that can save you a lot of regret later. Purple and gold tuning materials carry over into future tiers. When you reach level 66, both sword trials and heroes realm start dropping legendary gear. Even tier 61 chests can give you gold quality items. That means every high quality tuning material you waste now is one you will wish you had later. So my advice is simple: if a piece of gear isn't worth keeping into the next year, don't overinvest it. Start saving your best tuning materials now, your future build will thank you. Now let's talk about the Enhance tab. Enhancing your gear increases your attack, HP and defense. And the most important thing to understand here is the balance. Don't tunnel vision into just attack or just defense. Keeping all your gear slots upgraded evenly gives you the best overall stat growth and the biggest martial mastery gain. The most important material here is the oscillating jade. It's pretty easy to get, but you will need to grind a bit. Most of the other materials come from regular exploration and shops. And just a reminder, shop inventories reset every Monday, so make sure you are checking them weekly. Now let's move on to the arsenal, and this is where a lot of players accidentally lose power. Anytime you replace old gear, don't just delete it or ignore it. Always store your maxed out old gear in the arsenal. Every upgrade and every tuning you have done on that gear still contributes to your attack stats and martial mastery, even if you are no longer wearing it. Now here's the most important part, and I am repeating this because it matters a lot. Set your arsenal path correctly. If you are playing something like Bell Strike or Bamboo Cut, you leave your arsenal path set to general, you are basically throwing away damage. Switch the arsenal path to match your actual combat path and you will immediately see a noticeable boost. For Divinecraft, let me repeat again that you can toggle auto activation in the settings under game tab, and if you are ever confused about where to get materials, just click on the Divinecraft itself and check the listed source. The game tells you exactly where to farm them. Now let's talk about talents. You earn Enlightenment points by playing the game naturally, things like main story quests, side quests, Jianghu legacy content, and even opening chests while exploring. Once you collect enough Enlightenment points, they convert into talent points, which you can then invest into talents that fit your playstyle. Just keep in mind, some talents don't unlock with points alone, they also have special conditions, so always check the requirements before planning your build. And finally, we have the details tab. This is basically the full breakdown of your character, everything you have, everything that's active, and everything that affects your combat. In combat attributes, you will see all your offensive and defensive stats and exactly how your gear, talents, and skills are influencing your damage. The character status section shows all your active buffs, temporary effects, and combat modifiers. And the exploration attribute section is extremely important. A lot of things in Where Winds Meet require exploration attributes for gear sets, mystic skills, crafting requirements, all of it. And if you're wondering how to increase those efficiently, I already have a dedicated guide covering that in detail. The link you will find in the description. So that was everything you need to know about upgrading your abilities, gear, and talents. Thanks for watching, and I truly hope this guide covered every major aspect that contributes to your martial mastery. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments. I'd love to learn and improve together. And if you found this helpful, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with anyone who might need this guide. And before you go, Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year to all of you. Hope the holidays treat you well, and may your journey through Where Winds Meet be just as rewarding. I'll see you again in the next Where Winds Meet video.